Hi, this is Rocky with Hole-in-One Locating. This is the third time we've tried to take the same video. I'm not really a smart person all the time, but I am somewhat good at utility locating. This is a series we're doing for training on utility locating. The prior video, you should watch it if you haven't, was all about how we apply AC current with this transmitter and how we use the earth, which you can see right here in the box, as our return current. So the electrons are isolating in our conductive utilities, and we are completing a circuit here in the earth with our amazing ground rod that we didn't even drive. We just placed horizontally. More on that later. I think I said that last video. That's going to be a cool video. Now what I want to show you is the problem with using the earth as your return current. So if we're using the earth for our return current, and the reason we're able to use the earth is its sheer size, right? Everything is touching it. I'm touching the earth, you're touching the earth. Wherever you are watching this video, you're touching the earth. So because of the sheer size and volume of the earth, we're able to use it like a return wire. So the problem with doing that is, well, you can bleed off on other things, right? So here in our bucket of the earth, we have our original utility that we located right here. Look right behind me. Oh, there it is. I'm already connected to it. And we are trying to locate this line. However, this line is connected to another line. So it stands to reason that those two lines are also connected to the earth. Fascinating. So logically, and I think most of you can probably figure out where I'm going with this. If I was to try and locate this line, I've connected to the end of my utility that is conductive that I want to locate. I've taken my other lead, doesn't matter which one, red or green, and I've put it in the earth here, right? Horizontally is honestly the way to go. I've applied a 4 kilohertz frequency. So what that means, and there'll be another video on frequency, is that in this transmitter there are a series of electronic switches. It's converting a DC current to AC, and it's switching the polarity back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, 4,000 times a second. In doing that, it creates an electromagnetic field, and that electromagnetic field is created and tries to go one way, and then it collapses on itself, and it comes back the other way. And then it turns the other way, and then it collapses on itself and goes back the other way. And it does that 4,000 times a second, because that's what I've selected on my frequency. So we are connected. We're on a frequency that works, or a pattern. Good word, frequency, pattern that works. And we're going to start locating this line. So if you follow me here, I am on what's called a peak response, and we'll go over that later, but you'll notice that the bar there is peaking out over the utility, and I'm going to start locating it. Now, Metrotech is cool. You'll notice the bar is red. It already senses that there's something up here. Now, when I get to this joint, you can tell if you watch the milliamps here, 16 milliamps. When I get over here, all of a sudden you can see, oop, there's a drop. And if we come sweep here, now my receiver says, I really like that line. That's 15 milliamps and even green. And I come over here, look at there, I'm getting 17 milliamps in red. So now I'm getting two signals. So when you're using the earth as your return current, that's one of the issues, right? Whatever's touching the earth, you can bleed off on. So the best thing you could do is go, well, I think this utility is the one I don't want to locate, so let's get rid of that. Hold up. Whew. I watched the video. I did watch my own videos. And, I mean, it wasn't quite clear what I did. I go over to my bucket of earth and I pick up my little ground rod and poof. Oh, there's a signal goes away. And I'm worried that you're going, dude, so you're going to reach into the earth and remove the utility? No, that's not what I'm talking about. Remember that things operate on circuits. So I just wanted to go around to a side of a house here and show you in real world what I'm talking about. So let's say that I'm here to locate this phone line. And here we are in a real world scenario around everybody's trash cans on the side of their house they don't want you to see. That's locating. So if you follow that, right? It comes over here. And it goes under the ground right here. So if I want to locate that cable line, I'm going to want to clip right here. But when I do so, right? I'm going to sit down. When I do so, I'm going to put current on this cable line, but that current's also going to go down the ground, right? And that ground is attached to, Vanna White moment, the power meter. So if I connect there, I'm sending a current down both utilities. So I'm going to get a signal on both utilities. So what I was trying to do was not reach into the earth and remove the utility. I'm telling you to remove the ground. So if you wanted to locate this device, you need to remove this. You can touch it, it's fine, right? And then when you apply your direct connection here, you're only going to be putting current off on that utility, right? Instead of off on this utility as well. And the other quick note is, where do you place your ground rod? Look, there's the grounds here. This ground's connected to that. These are grounded to like a light and a irrigation system inside. So let's not put our ground by our grounds, right? Because then you're also, as that polarity switching back and forth, you're going to still be putting a signal off here. So we would come do a passive sweep, make sure there's no active utilities coming in here, put our ground rod here, disconnect our power for a minute, connect here. Now we've isolated, keyword for future videos, isolation. We've isolated that utility so that we're applying direct connection on a low frequency and we're using the earth as our return path. We're also not sending a signal out on other utilities. Hopefully that helps explain the video where I'm explaining removing the grounds. Thank you. Now, if you come over here, you see the one that is still grounded, we're picking up on. The one that is not grounded, we are not picking up on, right? So the problem with direct connection is you are using the earth as your returned path. So any other utilities that are grounded together at that common bond at the house are even parallel to each other in the soil or crossing each other could bleed off on each other. You never know what's spliced together. You never know what's running together. Anything that is close by, you can potentially bleed off on, or that can become your return path. it would be very easy to walk through this and not be paying attention and locate this section of the utility wrong. So please be aware, when you're using direct connection, you are using the earth as your return path. So you need to unground anything that you don't want to locate, right? And you need to be very aware of, as far as you can, what is below your feet and how congested of an area it is. Thank you. Rocky, hole in one.